After putting considerable thought into making another run for president, I've decided it's best to give other leaders in the party the opportunity to become our next nominee.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Steve Malzberg Show, Friday edition. The news made this morning on a conference call by Mitt Romney. He's not running for president. Joining us now is Congressman Allen West, former congressman from the great state of Florida, president and CEO of the National Center for Policy Analysis. And of course, he is the author of Guardian of the Republic. And Congressman, great to talk to you, sir.
Good to be with you, Steve. Hopefully you guys are starting to warm up a little bit up there in New York.
I don't hear the congressman. Do we hear the congressman? Yes, we will. Okay, Congressman?
Yeah.
All right, now I hear
Steve.
you. Now I hear you. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a button.
No worries.
Okay, so before we get to a lot of stuff in the two segments that you're saying with us, let's talk about Mitt Romney. What were you surprised at all by his announcement?
Well, people didn't know which way this was going to go. You had that recent meeting with Jeb Bush. Now he's going to have the meeting with Chris Christie. So I think that Governor Romney, even though the polls showed him at the top, perhaps he was not getting the major type of response from the donor class, and then also from some of his former campaign staff who seemed to have gone over to other individuals. So I think he made a good decision, and I think that what he is looking to be, as you saw during the 2014 midterm election cycle, a senior statesman and someone that can really be a powerful political influencer.
Who does this help? Who does this hurt? Because on the way out the door, as many are saying, he made some remarks. I want you to hear what he had to say, and let's listen to this.
I believe that one of our next generation of Republican leaders, one who may not be as well known as I am today, one who has not yet taken their message across the country, one who's just getting started, may well emerge as being better able to defeat the Democrat nominee. In fact, I expect and hope that to be the case. I feel that it's critical that America elect a conservative leader to become our next president. You know that I wanted to be that president. But I do not want to make it more difficult for someone else to emerge who may have a better chance of becoming that president.
All right, so that's what he had to say. Someone not as well known as him, someone new generation. What is he trying to say there?
Well, I think that, that would be best for Mitt Romney to answer that rather than me trying to get inside his head. But there is no doubt that I believe that he's trying to set the conditions for future leadership in the Republican Party. And I think that's what he wants to try to help to inspire, to influence, and to engage. And that's what I heard in those comments. It's very interesting, he said, that a strong conservative, because we need to have someone that does, create a clear delineation and separation from the progressive socialist policy agenda that we have seen that is failing this country in the area of economics, energy, and also national security and foreign policy. So I think that he kind of threw out there a typecast, and let's see, who will step up that kind of fits that frame and that model that he just articulated in his conference call.
What do you think that dinner with Christie is going to be like? You think he'll say to Christie, "Okay, why did you hug Obama? Why did you talk about yourself in the keynote speech at the convention? And what the heck did you invite me to dinner for?"
It's going to be very interesting. You know that this is going to be about, hey, I'd like for you to throw your support behind me. And you're going to have many different individuals, potential candidates for the nomination lining up to see if they can court that approval. And I think that's why it was very interesting how he laid out that typecast in his conference call statement.
So he's now kind of like the elder statesman power broker, as you put it, right?
Absolutely, that senior statesman, and you saw him do a lot of great things supporting House and Senate candidates all over the country in the 2014 election cycle. So, I think that is a good position for him to be in right now.
All right, when we come back, folks, we're going to talk about with Alan. We're going to talk about the the definition of terrorism, that the administration won't call Taliban terrorists. We're going to talk about Netanyahu, and we're going to talk more about the current role that Allen West is now presiding over the National Center for Policy Analysis, his brand new gig down in Dallas, Texas. All that is coming up. Also, after the following segment with the congressman, we're going to speak to current Congressman Peter King, get his take on much of the same events. So don't go away. Big show, big hour, Friday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show, and it's only on Newsmax television. Don't go away. All right, we're back with former Congressman Allen West. And Allen, talk about the National Center for Policy Analysis, which you're now president and CEO of down in Texas. Tell the folks what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow us at www.ncpa.org. It's a 31-year-old conservative free market policy think tank located down here in Dallas. Health savings accounts, Roth IRAs, or policy initiatives from the NCPA that has definitely proved to be quite providential and beneficial for the American people. So we continue to look at policy analysis. Some of the things that we looked at is the 529 plan that the president wanted to tax, and of course they backed off of that. So that was a target of opportunity. But we have this new development, a tax analysis center, which will allow us to do dynamic analysis of tax policies and tax proposals and other fiscal type policies to really give that behavioral effect of the individual and also the market instead of that static analysis that you get from the current CBO. So we're excited about that.
Great. www.ncpa.org. Everybody should check that out. All right. You know, you were on Greta a couple nights ago, and you're complaining about this outrageous essay contest that the Joint Chiefs came up with to praise the King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, who just died. Put that in the same bag, I guess, as the White House on consecutive days, two different spokespeople saying that the Taliban are not terrorists. And they're not terrorists by their logic because they don't have any world domination plans. They just commit acts. They're an armed insurgency. You combine that with the stance on Iran and everything. And what we found out now about Hillary and Libya, that the Washington Times uncovered these tapes that Congressman Kucinich and people from the Pentagon went to speak to Gaddafi's son because they were afraid of what Hillary was. I mean, this is insanity, is it not?
No, it is absolute insanity, and it is all falling apart. You know, the thing is, where is the priority, of this White House? And you started by talking about the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who should be worried about our military capability and capacity, not an essay writing contest on one of the most repressive regimes and countries in the world, and that's Saudi Arabia, and they don't share our values. So why would we want to have American children writing about, the king of Saudi Arabia when you had most of the 9/11 attackers from there, the Wahhabis are there, most of the folks that are fighting with Al-Qaeda and ISIS and their support are coming out of Saudi Arabia, as well as large financing to Islamic terrorism. The reason why the Obama administration cannot refer to the Taliban as a terrorist organization is because what would it look like that the Obama administration traded to get a deserter back for 5 terrorists? It just throws another lump of coal on an already very, very hot burning fire.
Right.
So for them to try to explain that, well, the Taliban just operates in Afghanistan and the Pakistan Taliban is different from the Afghanistan Taliban, the bottom line is it's Islamic terrorism, it's jihadism, it's Islamic fascism, and it is all the same, whether it's Hamas, Hezbollah, Abu Sayyaf in the Philippines, Jamaat al-Islamiyah, it does not matter. And that's where they fail to see this from a strategic perspective. They just see it from a political perspective.
Right. Do you ever wonder where this is all going to end? You know, we have reports of a leader of the Muslim Brotherhood meeting at the State Department or with the White House to try to plot strategy to overthrow the Egyptian government. And then he goes back, he leaves that meeting, and he says we're in a lifelong jihad against the Egyptian government. It makes you wonder what the heck went on at that meeting. Of course, we know that there are people, or we hear there are people in Israel on the ground that are trying to overthrow or get Netanyahu to lose his re-election. He's already done you-know-what to Libya. Look what happened in Yemen with the help of his friends from Iran. We got Hezbollah attacking Israel. I mean, my God.
Well, this is what happens because weakness is enticing for your enemy. And let us go back and remember, even in 2009, when President Obama went to speak in Egypt at the university there in Cairo, he requested for the Muslim Brotherhood members to be front and center for his speech. So, you know, there comes a time when we really have to honestly say, you know, whose side is President Obama on? Is he an Islamist sympathizer? And I think that if there's one thing that the House and Senate can do, they need to bring up a resolution to censure the president for some of these actions. Why do we have the Muslim Brotherhood in our State Department? Why does the President of the United States request for the Muslim Brotherhood to be there when he's giving a speech? Why is there all this support for Mohammed Morsi but none for General al-Sisi? Because he is standing up against the Brotherhood. What happened in Libya? Why do we need to, dethrone Muammar Gaddafi and basically side with Islamist forces there? Why are we, delaying all of these, to put sanctions back on Iran? There have been 3 or 4 different times that they extended the negotiations.
Congressman, that's why I love you. You're not afraid to say what a lot of people are thinking. Former Congressman, of course, Alan West. Thank you, sir. Best of luck. Have a great Super Bowl weekend. Congressman Peter King's next.